It was a breezy Saturday evening at a small park in Fairfield, Connecticut. Families gathered to enjoy the cool air, children played soccer on the field, and teenagers scrolled through their phones. 16-year-old Michael sat under a sprawling oak tree, quietly flipping through a book. Dressed in a fitted black suit, crisp white shirt, and polished shoes, he waited for his younger brother Jordan, who was wrapping up soccer practice nearby. The serene atmosphere was shattered by the distant rumble of motorcycles. 5 bikers roared into the park, their loud engines grabbing everyone's attention. They parked their bikes near the soccer field, their leather jackets and dark jeans starkly contrasting with the friendly, laid-back crowd. Their eyes scanned the area until they locked onto Michael. Michael noticed them too. He didn't react, keeping his eyes on his book, but he felt the tension immediately. His stomach knotted as he sensed something unusual about their demeanor. The burly leader of the group, a bald man with an intimidating presence, whispered something to his companions before heading straight toward Michael. The leader stopped a few feet away, flanked by 2 others. "What are you doing here, kid?" he asked, his voice rough and challenging. Michael looked up, his calm exterior masking his unease. "Waiting for my brother," he replied, his tone polite but firm. The man smirked, glancing back at his friends. "Doesn't look like your kind of place," he sneered. Michael's grip on his book tightened, but he maintained his composure. "It's a public park," he said evenly. The man's smirk faded as he stepped closer, his tone turning aggressive. "You've got a smart mouth, huh?" Michael scanned the area briefly, hoping someone would notice the escalating tension, but everyone was engrossed in the soccer game. The bikers had chosen their moment well. "I don't want any trouble," Michael said, his voice measured but steady. The man leaned in, his shadow looming over Michael. "Trouble? Who said anything about trouble?" he taunted. Then, with a wicked grin, he added, "Maybe you should show us what you've got." Before Michael could respond, a young voice cut through the air. "Leave him alone!" Michael turned to see Jordan standing a few yards away, his soccer jersey drenched in sweat. "Jordan, stay back," Michael called, his voice firm. The bikers turned toward Jordan, their grins widening. "This your little brother?" one of them asked. "Maybe we should teach you both a lesson." Michael stood up slowly, placing his book aside. His movements were deliberate, calm, and controlled. "Don't touch him," he said, his voice low but edged with steel. The leader laughed, shaking his head. "Look at this guy. Thinks he's tough." His friends joined in, their laughter echoing across the park. The leader lunged forward, aiming to shove Michael, but what happened next left everyone stunned. Michael moved with lightning speed. He sidestepped the shove and twisted the man's wrist in one smooth motion, forcing him to stumble back. Another biker swung a punch, but Michael ducked effortlessly, countering with a sharp kick to the knee. The man cried out in pain as he crumpled to the ground. The third attacker hesitated for a split second, long enough for Michael to pivot and deliver a spinning kick to his ribs. The force of the blow sent him staggering backward. The leader, now red-faced with anger, charged at Michael, throwing wild punches. But Michael didn't meet brute force with brute force. He dodged each swing with practiced agility, staying light on his feet. By now, a crowd had gathered. Parents, children, and players from the soccer field stopped what they were doing to watch. Some pulled out their phones, recording the unexpected fight. Then the leader lunged again. Michael twisted out of his grip and struck his solar plexus with precision. The man gasped for air, stumbling backward as his tough exterior began to crack. Michael stepped back, his stance steady, his expression calm but firm. "Enough!" he said loudly, his voice carrying across the park. "I don't want to hurt you. Walk away!" For a moment the bikers froze, stunned by the teen's confidence. The leader glared at Michael before finally growling, "Let's go." The group limped back to their bikes, muttering curses under their breath. As they revved their engines, the leader turned and pointed a finger at Michael. "This ain't over, kid," he spat before roaring off with his crew. Michael stood still, watching the bikers disappear. The crowd erupted into applause, murmurs of admiration and disbelief rippling through the park. Jordan ran up to Michael, his face a mix of awe and concern. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice trembling. Michael knelt down, placing a reassuring hand on Jordan's shoulder. "I'm fine," he said with a small smile. "Let's go home." As they walked, Jordan couldn't stop asking questions. "How did you do that? They were huge!" Michael chuckled softly. "It's not about size, Jordan. It's about being prepared, staying calm, and knowing when to act." Jordan hesitated, his face serious. "But what if they come back? That guy said it wasn't over." Michael stopped, turning to face his brother. "If they do, we'll handle it. But remember, today wasn't about fighting. It was about standing up for what's right. Violence is never the first answer." When they arrived home, their mom was waiting on the porch, arms crossed. "You're late," she said, her voice tinged with worry. Michael recounted the incident, carefully choosing his words. As he finished, her expression softened. "Michael," she said, her voice filled with pride, "I'm proud of you for protecting your brother. But promise me you'll never take risks like that unless it's absolutely necessary." "I promise," Michael replied sincerely. That night, Michael lay in bed, replaying the events in his mind. He wasn't afraid of the bikers' threats. He had learned long ago that strength didn't come from aggression, but from discipline and confidence. This experience was more than just a test of his skills. It was a reminder that standing up for what's right, no matter how intimidating the challenge, is always worth it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to act despite it. Michael's story shows that true strength lies in preparation, integrity, and knowing your worth. If this story inspired you, reflect on how you can stand up for yourself and others in tough situations. True courage always shines, even in the darkest moments.